As a freelancer, small business owner or trader in Germany, you must present your sales and profits to the Finanzamt and file a tax return. And as an entrepreneur, if your profit is less than 60,000 euro per year and your total turnover is less than 600,000 euros, then you don't have to file a detailed balance sheet. Then you can report your profits with a simple income surplus form or the Einnahmen Überschuss Rechnung or the EÜR Form. Here you list down all your income from your business and freelance activity and all the business cost and other operating expenses. Filling out the EÜR form is not easy, and if you want to hire a tax advisor, then you have to pay a lot of fees. So for the brave ones out there who want to do it by themselves, I made this video. This is going to be a lengthy one, so let's get some coffee. For those who are new here, my name is Srijit, and in this channel we talk about wealth, happiness and sometimes boring tax forms. Before we start, I'm not a tax expert, and this video just represents my views from my own experiences. This in no way should be considered as professional tax advice. So use this information at your own risk and contact the tax office or a tax advisor if you have any doubts. To fill out the EÜR form, we are going to use the official tax software from Finanzamt called the Elster. This is totally free to use, but then the initial registration can take around 2 weeks. If you don't already have an Elster account, then you can watch this video, register for an account and then come back here. Once you log in and get to the home page, you will find the option to submit different forms to the Finanzamt. Now click on Formula and Leistungen and Alle Formula or All Forms. Here expand on the section Gewinnermittlung or Profit Determination and select Einnahmen Überschuss Rechnung or the Anlage EÜR. Now select the year you want to submit the tax return and click on Weiter. If you have already submitted the EÜR form with Elster, then you can take over most of your data from your previous submission. If the option is there, then use it. It can save some time and effort. If this is your first time, then this section will be empty and you can continue without the data takeover. Here you have the option to select additional forms that you want to attach along with your EÜR. For example, the Anlage AV EÜR. This must be attached if you have fixed assets related to your business that must be depreciated over the life cycle, or the attachment as said for the debt interest. I will cover these forms in coming videos, so do subscribe to the channel and watch out for them. For now, we will keep the selection and move to the first page. Now here, select the state from the drop-down list and then enter the steuern number or the tax number. If your business has a unique tax number, then enter it here. Now we go to the next page where we have to enter our personal details such as last name, first name and the address. The normal taxation year is from January 1st to December 31st. Line 4 only needs to be completed if the company's financial year differs from the calendar year. And this can happen due to 2 reasons. 1. The business requires it. For example, agriculture and forestry companies have a different operational year. And second, the business was opened or closed in between the calendar year. And if you don't provide this information, then the normal calendar year is considered as the financial year, even if the business was founded mid-year. Line 5 is Art des Betriebs or type of operation. Here, write down the actual business or the freelance activity. If you run an online shop, write down online shop. If you do social media marketing, then write down that. Next is the legal form of the company. Here you have many options. Freelancers should select Angehörige der freien Berufe. Solo business owners or Einzelunternehmen should select Sonstige Einzelgewerbebetriebende. And if your business belongs to any other type, then choose accordingly. Next is the type of income. Freelancers should choose Einkünfte auf selbstständige Arbeit, and those who are in the agriculture or forestry sector should choose Land- und Forstwirtschaft, and all others should choose Einkünfte aus Gewerbebetrieb. If you are making a joint declaration with your partner, then you should mention here to whom belongs this particular EÜR submission. In most cases, steuerpflichtige person A can be entered here. If both you and your partner are self-employed, then you must submit individual EÜR forms. The line 9 is about the sale or abandonment of the business or the company in the taxation year. Line 10 is to be filled if you have sold any land that was part of the business assets. Now the EÜR form is always submitted along with your income tax declaration. So here you must select the state and enter the tax number from the income tax declaration related to this EÜR. If you receive direct personal help from someone to file the tax return, for example a tax advisor, then you could enter the name, address and other details in section 2. The next section is already about your income. Income from the sale of goods and services, refunded VAT, income from various government support schemes, everything comes here. Before proceeding further, remember to apply the inflow and the outflow principle for selecting income and expenses. Income should only be considered when you receive the payment in your account, not when they were invoiced. And the same applies to operating expenses. They should only be considered when you have paid for them. For example, if you received an invoice in the December of 2022 and paid for it in 2023, then this should be considered in the profit determination of 2023. The lines 11 and 12 are for small business owners or Kleinunternehmer. Your business will qualify as a small business if the total income in the founding year is not expected to exceed 22,000 euros and 50,000 euros in the following year. Then you can enter all your income from the taxation year in line 11. And in line 12, the income from sources that are not taxable. For example, the Corona aid. It's also important to note that the small business owners who have waived the calculation of VAT should enter the full amount or the brutto amount, including the taxes for both income and expenses. Line 13 is for businesses in the agriculture and forestry area that are subject to a so-called average rate taxation. We skip this and we go to line 14. Line 14 is for businesses that don't come under small business regulation. Here you have to enter the total turnover subject to VAT. And in line 15, you have to enter the VAT-free part of the income. Again, if you received the Corona aid in 2021, this is considered as VAT-free income and should be entered here. In line 16, the sum of the collected sales tax or VAT is entered. One thing to note here is the phrase unentgeltliche Wertabgaben. These are services or products of the businesses that are used for private purposes. For example, if you own a shoe store and you take shoes out of the stock for your own personal use. Since these are registered as business assets, VAT on these products or services should also be considered for tax purposes. Make sure the amounts entered here matches the amount stated in the VAT return. If you got any VAT refund from the tax office as a part of your advance declaration, then you must indicate that in line 17. Here there is a 10-day rule applicable for recurring payments. This means the VAT return for December is also allocated to the respective financial year if the payment is received within first 10 days of January the next year. Lines 18 to 21 are about the sale or withdrawal of fixed assets. If you have sold any assets that were exclusively used for business purposes, such as machines or vehicles, then enter the amount in line 18. In case you converted a business asset as a private asset, then you must estimate the possible selling price and enter it in row 18. For example, if you took an office printer home and started to use it totally for private purposes. Line 19 is important if you use your company vehicle for personal use as well. The cost of these trips is considered income since they do not come under business expenses. And in this case, calculating the exact share of private and business use is a bit complicated and could be a separate video on its own. So here you can either enter the amount based on a logbook that you keep or at a flat rate of 1%. If you use any other business service or assets for private use, then it should be noted in line 20. This is different from the fixed asset usage we entered in line 18. For example, if you run a 3D printer business, if you take the 3D printer into your private assets, then this has to be entered in line 18. But if you just take the 3D printed products for your private use, then this should be entered in line 20. And line 21 is if you have liquidated any company assets. This will be taken over from the line 124 in the EÜR form. And finally, the total income from your business is calculated and shown in line 22. Now, the next section is for operational expenses. This includes every expense that you need to carry out your business or freelance activity, such as travel costs, wages, insurances, etc. Line 23 is for some special professional groups, such as journalists, writers, scientists, teachers, etc. And in this case, you have the option to simplify things and then bill the expenses at a single flat rate. This is beneficial if the actual expense is less than the flat rate. Then you can enter the flat rate here and then be done with it. But if the expenses are more than that, then indicating it separately will be more beneficial. Lines 24 and 25 are only relevant for wineries and forestry business. Line 26 is for the expenses related to the purchase of raw materials, goods and other auxiliary materials for your business. For example, if you are a restaurant owner, then you need daily purchase of raw materials to run the restaurant. And the inflow-outflow principle also applies here for the expenses. The date the money left your account counts, not the date when it was invoiced. Line 27 is the cost for external services provided by another company. For example, if you take the help of a freelancer to create a website for your company or a transport company to deliver goods, then you have to enter those costs here. If you have your own employees, then you can enter the related expenses in line 28. This includes salaries, income tax paid, insurances, etc. If you have purchased business assets with a value over 800 euros, then you can't directly book the full price as operational expenses in the current taxation year. Such assets must be depreciated and written off over several years over their life cycle. And this useful life for every product is officially defined in the so-called depreciation tables or AFA tables published by the Ministry of Finance. And the proof of depreciation can be provided with the EÜR form. This procedure is a bit complex and I will make a separate video on how to fill out the EÜR form. But once the form is filled, then the values will be taken over to the fields 29, 30, 31 and 41. If you plan to purchase a mobile asset in the next 3 years, then you can already declare the acquisition cost as profit reducing expenses in the current taxation year. This will reduce your tax for the current year and that value can be entered in line 42. This way you can reduce the tax for the current year and that expense can be entered in line 42. Line 43 deals with geringwertige Wirtschaftgüter or low value assets. A low value asset is a movable, independently usable asset necessary for running the business. For example, office chairs, computers, softwares, etc. Again, if the value of such an asset is less than 800 euros, excluding VAT, then they don't have to be depreciated over several years. This can be claimed directly as operational expenses by entering them in line 43. The next section is for building and land expenses. This includes, for example, the rent for your office, the company property, or even your home office. All rental costs related to company used real estate or land should be entered in line 46. And line 47 is for double household management. This is the case when you own a second place for business purposes other than your primary place of residence. Then rental, furnishing, renovations and other related costs can be deducted. If you have any other expenses related to the land used for business purposes, this should be entered in line 48. This includes expenses such as property tax, renovations and repairs. Now we come to telecommunication costs. This includes the price for your cellular service or internet connection which is used for business purposes. And this should be entered in line 49. Here, there is a flat rate of 20 euros per month. If it is anything above that, then there should be a clear distinction between a business use and a private use. Here, enter only the business share of expenses. In line 50, you can enter the travel costs related to your business trips. This includes transport costs, hotel, parking, etc. Training costs can be entered in line 51 and expenses for legal and tax advice in line 52. If you have rented any mobile assets, such as a lawn mower from OB, then you can enter the leasing amount in line 53. Note that this doesn't include vehicle rentals. Now the cost to maintain or repair business asset should be entered in line 54. And contributions to professional associations, including professional liability and financial loss liability insurance, goes in line 55. The costs related to maintaining your digital goods and software should be entered in line 56. For example, a repair service for your office laptop. Costs for work equipment such as office supplies, pens and books go in line 57. And waste disposal costs go in line 58. Line 57 is for packaging and transport costs such as sending parcels and envelopes. And the expenses for advertising your business as posters or digital ads go in line 60. In some cases, you will need to find capital for your business through loans. And the interest on debt to finance the acquisition or production of such fixed assets such as buildings or machines can be considered operating expenses and may be entered in line 61. And the interest payments for other kind of loans can be noted under Übrige Schuldzinsen in line 62. If the interest amount is less than 2,250 euros, then it is fully deductible. If not, the attachment determination of non-deductible debt interest or the attachment SZ should be completed and submitted with the tax return. The input VAT amount must be entered in line 63. This is the VAT you paid as a part of your expenses. The VAT already prepaid to the tax office in the corresponding year belongs in line 64. And small business owners who have waived the calculation of VAT do not have to pay any sales tax to the tax office and do not have to submit any advanced VAT declarations. In return, they have no right to deduct the input tax and hence can leave this field empty. Line 65 deals with reserves, which is the possibility of using the profits for a future investment in a similar asset. These are noted in line 124 and taken over to line 65. All the remaining operating expenses that do not fit into any category are entered in line 66. Line 67 to 71 are about partially deductible operating expenses, which means the expenses on which you are not allowed to claim the full price. You must differentiate between non-deductible and deductible parts and enter the total amounts in the correct appropriate field. Gifts to business partners that cost over 35 euros cannot be deducted as operating expenses. And note that 35 euro is not an allowance, it's just the limit. The gift is completely non-deductible if the amount goes over 35 euros. Non-deductible gifts go in the field Geschenke nicht abziehbar and the deductible ones go below. Similarly, catering expenses for business meetings can only be claimed up to 70% and should be divided and entered in corresponding fields in line 68. Additional expenses for meals for a business trip or double household management are to be recorded in line 69. This can only be claimed as a flat rate irrespective of the actual expense, so you don't have to collect any receipts. And this comes to 14 euros for a part day and 28 euros for a whole day. And when it comes to office expenses, this falls into three categories. In most cases, the expenses for a home office and equipment costs are not deductible if your professional activity doesn't revolve around the home office. For example, you are a real estate agent who doesn't have a place to carry out the office work, then the expenses can be deducted up to an amount of 1,250 euros under special conditions. This is not a flat rate and must be proved with receipts. In this case, the deductible amount can be entered in abziehbare Aufwendungen and the non-deductible part in nicht abziehbare Aufwendungen. But this limit doesn't apply if the home office is the center of your business. This is the case with digital creators. Then you can enter the whole expense here without the limit. There is also a lump sum amount of 5 euro that the self-employed can claim for every day spent in the home office. A maximum of 120 days or 600 euros can be deducted. If there are other deductible and non-deductible operating expenses that don't come under any of the above categories, then that can be entered in line 71. Lines 81 to 87 cover expenses related to a business vehicle. If you have leased a car for business purposes, then the leasing costs can be entered on line 81. Line 82 covers vehicle ownership related costs such as taxes, insurance and tolls. All other travel costs including repairs, fuel, flight tickets and public transport should be entered in line 83. If you also use your private car for business purposes, then you can specify the related costs in line 84. Now, expenses for trips between your home and your regular workspace do not constitute as a business trip and can only be deducted in a limited extent. Only the distance allowance or the Entfernungspauschale of 30 cents per kilometer can be deducted here. This also includes travel to your second place of residence under double household management. Here, the distance allowance is 30 cents per kilometer for the first 21 kilometers and then 38 cents per kilometer for anything above that. This can be entered in line 86. The actual non-deductible travel expenses should be entered on line 85. This will then be deducted from the operational expenses, so it will have an increased effect on the profit. And this is a complicated area. So if you are unclear about something, then please contact a tax advisor. Line 87 deals with all the remaining non-deductible expenses. Here, you should enter the remaining non-deductible part of expenses taken into accounts in lines 25 to 86. And finally, row 88 will show you the total sum of all your operating expenses. Now we go to the next page for determining profits. Your total income and expenses are transferred to fields 89 and 90 from other pages. Also, there are some additional deductions here such as tax-free income and some tricky tax cases. This will not apply for most, but I will still go through them quickly. Lines 91 to 96 is important to you if you participate in some part-time activities that offer a tax exemption. For example, an allowance of 3,000 euro applies to voluntary caregivers. Lines 96 to 101 deals with IAB or investment deductions. This is a special case where you claim the tax for a future business purchase in the current taxation year. Field 102 is relevant if the profit determination method has changed to a different form from EÜR. For example, when your company changes to a GmbH. This is a complex case and better be done with a tax consultant. If you have profit shares in partnership businesses, these are entered separately in field 103. Once we enter the deductions, the profits are calculated automatically and can be seen in line 104. Lines 105 and 106 are only relevant if the business capital has been invested in investment funds. The overall profits are summarized again in line 106, to which an amount from the debt interest attachment SZ is added, if applicable, to calculate the final profit amount. And this value is the one which is included in the attachment G for business owners and attachment S for freelancers. And for most freelancers and business owners, this should be enough. The next fields deals with topics that are a little more complicated and may not be relevant in the early days of your entrepreneurial journey. Lines 121 to 124 in section 6 deals with reserves, which is the possibility of using current profits as a reserve for future investments in a similar asset. And section 7 deals with all the withdrawal and deposits of assets and services that you move from your business to your private life and vice versa. Often private withdrawals and deposits have no tax implications. Now you can click Alles Prüfen or check everything and get an overview of errors that you must correct. Once you make these corrections, you can send the form to the tax office. Remember that this is only an additional attachment that has to be submitted along with your Form G or Form S. And to learn how to fill out these forms, you can watch the other videos on the channel. This was a long one and I appreciate you staying until the end. Some of the information shared here may change or become irrelevant in the future. So do your own research and verify before you submit the form. A lot of effort has gone behind making this video. So if you got some value from this, then give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. Until I see you with another video, have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care and bye.